Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about the Party in Paradise event milestone that's going to be going live later on at Store Reset today. Now, a few things that I want to say up front. One is that you may or may not hear, but my voice is really raspy. I'm not actually feeling all that well. Fingers crossed it's not COVID or anything like that, but I'll be doing this video and I'm taking a bit of a break for the weekend. Secondly, we don't have the information regarding the math on the Blitz section of this event, which is going to be two-day Blitz milestones, and we're going to talk about, I've done some shadow calculations, and we're going to see how that might impact the actual milestone itself, but I do want to say that up front that this is free-to-play obtainable for the Gauntlets of Heroes item that you need for the Summer of Thunder. However, depending on how many power cores that you're willing to spend on the Valkyrie event, and we're going to cross over with my event video from the other day as to how many of these power cores that you're going to need to spend for the goal that you're doing for collecting these party animal orbs. It's a little bit complicated, I must admit, but hopefully we're going to be able to break it down and get you guys a better understanding of how we're going to get there. So if you're ready to go, then let's boil this event down. And first things, I want to kind of bring you to the Party in Paradise. It's actually in-game as of recording this, but we don't have the other stuff, which is the Blitz milestone and there's a campaign energy thing on web milestone, but that's not to do with this. It is to do with the event, but it doesn't reward any party animal orbs. So if you click on this event, it does tell you the scoring, which you're going to get 2,000 points for opening up a party animal orb, which is kind of nice, I guess, because it takes 2,000 fragments. I almost wish that instead of that, it was earning the fragments itself, because they did that in the previous event, and I think that was better, especially for those of you who are short fragments to open up an orb, which kind of gets a little bit frustrating. You also get 5 points for spending power cores, and we're going to see how that interacts with the actual event milestone later on, as far as how many power cores you're spending in the Valkyrie campaign event. Now, as far as rewards, we kind of covered this in the blog post a little bit. There's Mjolnir fragments, of course, some orange gear, some shards. You know, at the very bottom, I want to say up front that you're probably not going to be able to get to milestone 40 and 39. You might be able to get to milestone 38, depending on how many orbs are up for grabs in the Blitz milestones when they come out, but we don't have that information yet. To be honest, you're probably not missing a whole lot anyways, even if you don't get to milestone 39 or 40. It's, you know, it's stuff, of course, but, you know, it's not anything that you'll be, you know, missing out too much on. It's not a crazy ton of stuff. But where you do need to get to is milestone 34. This is the Gauntlets of Heroes. It's also the last Mjolnir fragment milestone as well, so that's good. And this is available free to play with the knowledge that we have so far, so that's good to know. So I'm going to jump over to this. We're going to be going over the Summer of Thunder. I also said I was going to do a recap about how many points that are available so far with all the information that we have. And so this is my tally, my subtotal tally that I've been keeping track of for the entire month. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at any of these things individually, but basically we're currently at a free-to-play subtotal of 49,088 points. Now that comes from the 1,116 that we're going to get from this Party in Paradise, plus the 10,000 from the Gauntlets, and all the one-core offers to date. Also, the Quick Rumble 5, which is available next week on next Thursday for Asgardians, ending out the month, which basically means we need 3 more one-core offers to clear 50k. But, and this is a big but, I do want to say that 2080 of those fragments were that whale milestone from Space Fight. I wouldn't say whale milestone, but you had to spend money in order to get there. That final sort of milestone there that which is actually ending today as of recording this video. But of course, there hasn't been any offers to kind of get you there, and so you do have to spend to get to that 2080. And it wasn't even available in the final day, which is a little bit frustrating for many. There was also 186 fragments in the Victory Blueprint, which was a bit challenging to get to, so you may or may not have got there. So in total, there was probably about, I would say, 2,260 or whatever that is, you know, of Mjolnir fragments that was a bit harder to obtain. So it's very likely you're probably not going to get to milestone 50, you know, especially if you miss these 2080 without spending on more fragment offers. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day, and for... you know, being able to clear everything but the final milestone, that's okay with me personally, because, you know, if you look at my comments back in May, I actually didn't think that we would get to 50k free to play. I thought that because they were fully crafted teal gear pieces, I thought that it was quite valuable and that we probably wouldn't have got there to begin with. But anyways, let's talk about what we're actually here to talk about, and that's the Party in Paradise. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to get it more proper. So the milestone goal for this event is 180,000. It's in red because I really don't think we're going to get there personally, but I don't know because we don't have the full information for the Blitz. But as far as getting to the 76,500, which is what's important for the Gauntlet milestone, that's where it matters the most. And we'll talk about how we get there. So you get 2,000 points for opening up a party animal orb. You get 5 points per power core spent, which is very interesting because right from the outset, and if you watched my Valkyrie event video, you need to really understand a couple of things here. How many cores are you willing to spend for the Valkyrie event? Because not only when you're spending cores for the Valkyrie event, you're getting points from the power core spending, but you're also getting more party animal orbs because that's the amount of the shards, the fragments that you're going to be farming out of that campaign event once it goes live today. So understanding and having a goal in mind, are you going to be spending 200 power cores in the Valkyrie event? Are you going to be spending 400 in the Valkyrie event? Are you going to be spending less? You know, all of that determines whether or not you're going to get a certain amount of party animal orbs to open for this event. So, to recap, basically I have a couple of scenarios here. I have one where you're doing 400 cores daily. Now, this is 200 in the event and 200 in the campaign. For those of you who are still coring campaign energy for experience, for things like that, this is pretty common right now. And then what it's worth over the course of the event, because it's a 7-day event. And so this is just strictly the points in power cores. And then 600 cores daily, which I admit is a lot, but there are quite a few people who are able to do this because it's only a 7-day event for one thing. You don't have to carry on doing this necessarily for the rest of the event if you don't want to. And that is worth 3,000 power cores daily and 21,000 points over the 7 days. So then I've propped this up into scenario 1 and 2. And this is really, really important. Okay, so the event lasts for 7 days. But the campaign event for Valkyrie lasts for 15 days. So how did I get the numbers here, total party animal orbs from the campaign? Because it's 7 days only. I'm glad you asked, or maybe you weren't going to. But if you guys watched my Valkyrie event from the other day, then you'll know that I have these charts, which is like scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, and so on and so forth. And so I get this in my table here. Total orbs over the event. And this is with a 15-day event. And I want to say very clear up front, if I didn't already, that this is with heroic mode farming in mind. So you're almost at about 49 total orbs over a course of the 15-day event, because all the campaign events are 15 days. So what I did is I took this number, 48.83, and I divided it here by 15, and then I multiplied it by 7 for 7 days to get a 7-day average of how many orbs you get. And you can see that it's roughly about 23. So if we go back to the previous milestone, or the previous sheet, that's where I've added in the 23 here. So that's 7 days worth of party animal orb farming if you're doing 200 cores daily in the Valkyrie event. And so that's equivalent to 46,000 points. And then if you add that in with the power cores spent, you're getting about 80,000 total. So that's really, actually, sorry, not 80,000, because I forgot to delete that. We're going to talk about this later. These are the party animal orbs from the Blitz. So that gets you about 60,000. You see how that's not quite the 76,500 that we need. We're going to talk about the Blitz section later. I've done some shadow calculations, how we can get these numbers up. So if you're using just 200 power cores in the event only, though, you're only going to getting about 53,000 points because you're not spending, more elsewhere. So this is specifically if you're only doing 200 cores daily, and that 200 cores is going into the Valkyrie event, and you're farming heroic mode and hard mode. So that is really important to understand, because the amount of fragments that you're going to be getting for party animal orbs is the most in the heroic campaign, but also the final 3 nodes in the hard mode campaign, because those are the maximum where I believe you get 100 fragments per 10 energy. 10 energy, I think that's what it is. And then scenario 2 here, this is if you're doing 400 cores daily in the Valkyrie event. So this is, again, going back to my other sheet here, this is actually scenario 4, what I call lots of cores. So that's where I pulled this number from, the total orbs over the event, 59.3 over 15 days. And so up here, I did some shadow math, and I took that and I divided it by 15, multiplied it by 7, and you're getting almost 28 orbs over 7 days. So that's where you get this 28 orb figure here. And then again, the same thing, you multiply this by 2,000, you get 56,000 points, and then plus when you add it with the power core points, then you're getting about 77,000. And you can see here that right off the bat, that hits that goal, that target goal with the gauntlets, without even considering the blitzing section of the event. So that's, if you want to be sure that you're going to get this, then you want to spend 400 cores daily in the Valkyrie event, assuming that you're farming heroic and hard mode. I hope that that makes that part clear. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here because I want to kind of go over the Blitz section. Now, we don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know, and I want to say up front that once we do know, I will update the sheet and I will post it in my Discord so we can have some proper, you know, it's not that nothing here is wrong. It's just that so we have a clearer picture as to what exactly we need to do. But we can do some shadow math. So it's a 2-day Blitz milestone, but it's running 2 times. So it's going to be running over 4 days. There's actually a good chance that this Blitz milestone isn't even starting this weekend. Because it's 2 different 2 days. So it might not even start today. It could start tomorrow. You know, it could start on a different day, right? So as long as it's within 4 days of the event, 4 out of the 7 days, that's how much we're going to be blitzing for this. So let's say, hypothetically, you know, so we see the points above here, right? 60,000, 53,000, and 77,000, with 77 being, you know, surpassing the 76.5 that we need. Let's say we're getting 5 party animal orbs per Blitz milestone, which is actually 10 total. So we put in the number 5 here, and I've already pre-calculated that into my figures up here. So now you can see that, like, you get 80,000, 73,000, and 97,000. So you can see that if we get 5 party animal orbs in the Blitz milestones, you know, which is actually 10 total, and you add that to the figure here, then actually doing 200 power cores daily in the Valkyrie event is enough, because you can see that the 80,000 is higher than 76,500, and that's really important. Now, if you get more, that'd be even great. It could be less, but I think 5 is a pretty reasonable number. That's what I would think, but maybe I shouldn't be too positive about this. Maybe I should say 3, which is really 6 over the 2 days, the 2 events. You know, so then that would give you about 72,000 instead of 76.5, which you need, which would kind of tell you that you need to spend a little bit more power cores than 200 daily. So we're somewhere in between, I think, 200 and 400 power cores daily that you need to spend in the Valkyrie event. Now, if this number was way higher, so let's say 10, which really means 20 of these orbs over the 2 milestones, you can see that the number goes up quite significantly. So now it goes up to 100,000, 93,000, and 117. Still very far from like the 180,000 that we need to clear this event. And frankly, I don't see it being much more than 10 per milestone, which is actually 20 total. I really don't see it being higher than this. Like, how many would this have to be for you to actually get to 180,000? Like, it would have to be a lot, right? Like, I don't know, 25, like pretty close to like 25, 26, which really means like 52 of these orbs over the entire, it's just not going to happen, right? Like, considering you're only getting these many orbs from the actual event itself, I don't see the numbers being this high. I think something like 5 is more realistic, which is actually 10 total. I think this is a more realistic value here, which means that you're still going to get this if you're doing 200 cores daily in the Valkyrie heroic campaign event, which is great. But if you are only doing it in the event only, because this is 200 in the event only. This one here is 200 plus 200 in your campaign energy. Really, at that point, I probably would just do scenario 2, which is more into the Valkyrie event. You know, it's better to spend your power cores in the Valkyrie event than it is to spend it outside of the Valkyrie event, because that way you're doubling down and you're doing 2 for 1. So not only are you spending power cores for this event, but you're also getting more fragments to open more party animal orbs. So if you're thinking about where you want to spend your power cores, I would just, when in doubt, spend it in the Valkyrie event. You know, you might be short some XP, you know, towards level 90, you know, because you're not putting it into campaign energy, but this is only a 7-day event and you can go back to doing that, you know, as per normal afterwards. So just a little bit of a heads up here. And of course, like I'll add in all the numbers once we know all of this, and specifically how many of these party animal orbs that we're going to get, and I'll update the math accordingly both on this video and in my Discord channel. So if you aren't a member of my Discord channel, I recommend joining up, because that's where I'm going to give all of the updates related to the videos there. I may not be around specifically at store reset time, which is why I'm doing this video now, but I think this gives us a good idea of at least how to get to the Heroes of Gauntlets, and I think that free to play, it's very possible for you to do that. Now, if you are someone who is only doing difficulty 1 or difficulty 2 of the campaign event, it might be a bit more challenging for you, which might mean you might need to spend more power cores in order to get there. But for those of us who are farming heroic and, you know, the latter bit of hard mode, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, I think, free to play. So that's it just now. I don't want to run my my throat too much because it does hurt when I talk, but hopefully I'll be getting better and you'll be seeing more of me in the near future. I will be posting this up for version 1 of the sheet up on Discord, and then version 2 once we have the math done for Midgard MASH. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time on the next video. Stay safe and healthy, because I need to get healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.